choice. We have chosen to become servants to other people. People we don't trust, people we don't know, and yet we've done it. Somehow, we got to recognize that's a stupid choice and move beyond it. Okay, another one. Stupid financial choice is selfishness. Look at these two verses here. Proverbs 11:24, it says, "One man gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty." The person who gives gains, but the person who holds back comes to poverty. Proverbs 21:13 says, "If a man shuts his ears to the cry of the poor, he too will cry out and not be answered." This last week, something amazing happened in our church. If you're not connected to us on our Facebook discussion or our Facebook page, then you probably didn't see this. But there was a lady who visited our church last week and was kind of in some financial hardship. And I've been sort of talking with her since Easter, and I said, you need to invest in some relationships. You need to invest in some friendships. And so she finally came last Sunday, and I got her connected with Kristen Hines in our church, is a budget counselor, and so got her connected with her. And then there was some other conversations that I had with her and that Kristen had with her, and it came down to we realized that she had some major needs. Like this week, her electricity and her gas were going to be shut off. And she had both of these needs, and she's got a long history of someone who's tried to do all the right things, and some circumstances have come into place that have just really put her behind the eight ball, so to speak. And so this last week, I asked her to actually put something out on our discussion page, and she opened up her heart and put on the discussion page how much money she was behind and why, and all those kinds of details. And you know what happened? In 48 hours... In 48 hours, we had 3 families in the church step up to pay for her gas, her electric, and her electric bill. We actually had 2 families pay for her electric bill. And so we're going to use that money to help her get the electrical system fixed so that she doesn't have the same kind of ludicrous bill next month. But here's the deal. Just in that brief span of time, generous people in our congregation said, I'm going to step up and I'm going to help this lady. I'm going to take care of this situation. Those are people who know this principle of unselfishness. Those are the people who know that those who give are those who get. Selfishness is dumb. Generosity is wise. Okay, so let's lift our spirits a little bit and look at some wise choices. Same thing goes here. If you see one of these verses and it clicks with you, circle it. If there's someone you know that needs one of these, put a box around it. But here we go. The first wise choice I want you to know about is fear the Lord. Fear the Lord. Look at these verses here. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Or this one, the fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. That second verse is so attractive to me. Untouched by trouble. Now, that might mean that a person who fears the Lord never has trouble in their life. I don't think that's the case. What it does mean, I think, is that a person who fears the Lord, that trouble's not going to touch them. That trouble's not going to affect them. That trouble's not going to change them. That trouble's not going to bother them. There might be trouble around me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't get to me. It doesn't affect who I am. It doesn't change me. But there's one other way this means what it means, okay? A lot of time people will look at the Bible and they'll say something, fear the Lord. Okay, yeah, I fear the Lord. What does that mean? That means I'm saying God is the most important thing in my life. And so I talk to God now and then, and I come to church now and then, and God is the most important thing in my life. People will tell me that. I've met people, and I ask them this question. I say, where does God rank in your life? And they'll say, He's the most important thing in my life. But here's the deal. If God is the most important thing in your life, then His Word is going to be the most important authority in your life. And His Son is going to be the most important person in your life. And you're going to give your life for that relationship. I talk to a lot of people and they say, yeah, God's the most important thing in my life. And they're living like they don't know what this book says, because they don't. Don't fool yourself. If God is the most important thing in your life, if you respect Him, if you fear Him, if you believe that He truly is in charge, you are going to sink your face into this book regularly and say, what does that God want me to know and to do? If you do that, you will do a lot of things that keep you from trouble. Practical things like the book of Proverbs tells us. Here's another one, wise choice. This leads us from fearing God. The next one is get knowledge. Get knowledge. I was talking to a guy this last week. Some of you know I go to this coffee shop downtown, and the owner of the coffee shop, his name is Jerry. He's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He's a strong businessman, but he's not a believer. And he was telling me about a lady that he knows who is a believer and some stupid choices she was making. So this was an interesting conversation I was having with this guy. And he tells me this conversation that he had with this other lady. He said, I talked to her and I said to this lady, you read the good book, right? You've got a Bible, right? And she goes, yeah, I've got a Bible. I read it. He says, well, you know what it says, don't you? And she says, yeah, I know what it says. And he said, teach a man or give a man a fish. Finish that. And he's telling me the story, and I'm thinking, what? Like, I know the rest of that phrase, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed him for his lifetime, but that's not in the Bible. So he's like, you know the Bible, you read the Bible, right? And she says, yeah, we'll finish this sentence, give a man a fish. No, it's not in the Bible. That's because there are a lot of people who think they know what's in the Bible, but they don't know what's in the Bible. There are a lot of things that people just simply say, like, God helps those who help themselves. That's not in the Bible either. Or money is the root of all evil. That's only halfway in the Bible. It's not really in the Bible that same way. There are lots of things that people use from the Bible. Here's the deal. If you want to get knowledge, you got to get what it actually says, not what some dude tells you he thinks it says, including me. Go home this week and read these verses for yourself and say, do they really mean what that guy says they mean? Get knowledge. Here, look at this. He who scorns instruction will pay for it, but he who respects a command is rewarded. Or this last one, whoever gives heed to instruction prospers, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. If you want to live long and prosper, heed instruction. Find it, read it, do it. Another wise choice. Work with diligence. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. I am drawn towards get-rich-quick schemes because they sound so easy. Mom works from home, makes $5,000 a day. I'm not a mom, but can I do that? But the plans of the diligent lead to profit. Someone's making money in that situation. I doubt it's the mom. I think it's the guy who's advertising. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Here, look at this next one. Wise choices. Live with integrity. This isn't just a moral thing. This is a smart thing to live with integrity. Because look at this. The man of integrity walks securely, but he who takes crooked paths will be found out. If you make every aspect of your life line up. If you say the things you want to be, and you live the way you talk, and it all connects, and you're a person of integrity, you walk with security. Because wherever you go, you're still just you. Integrity is a great gift to give yourself. It's not just a moral thing, it's a smart thing. One more. Give with generosity. And look at these verses here. He who gives to the poor, what a promise. He who gives to the poor will lack nothing. But he who closes his eyes to them receives many curses. He who gives to the poor will lack nothing. Or this one, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. The Bible is very clear. If we live the way God asks us to live, our lives will be better. both for today and for eternity. There's some stupid choices we all make, and we're going to quit them. There's some smart choices that we're going to start. And so what I want you to do in just a moment now, we're going to take a time to do some reflection. And you'll notice on the end of the note sheet here, there's a little section that says, take it home. Living by wisdom brings life and success. Living by foolishness brings pain and ruin. What I want you to do is ask yourself these questions. How have I deceived myself? See, a lot of you will say, this particular relationship is okay for me because I can handle it. Sure, that guy or that girl is quarrelsome. They're argumentative now, but that's just because they're under stress. When we're married, it's going to be different. Or maybe you're going to say, yeah, that person is really foolish with their money, but when I get into the mix there, I'm going to help that person and they're going to get their act together. Those relationship things, don't fool yourself. Some of you might say, okay, listen, I've got a little bit of an envy streak going on, but I can handle it because I'm poor and so I don't actually I can't buy those things that I see on the screen. And you're thinking that I'm okay. Even if I envy these things, it's not really good. But no, it's going to rot your bones. See, these passages are for everybody. Don't deceive yourself. And I want to ask you to ask yourself this question. Am I fooling myself in any one of these things? You've circled some verses. You've put some boxes around some verses. Am I fooling myself? And then the next two questions. Is there something today I need to quit? Is there something today I need to start? This is practical stuff. Today is not real highfalutin spirituality. It's just practical stuff. But I do have to say one final thing. And it is that if you today want to quit something and you want to start something, you don't have the power in yourself to do it. I know, because I've been there. The power that you need to live according to what this book teaches is found in the one who wrote the words. And God says that He will give you all the power that you need when you receive His Son. Receive Jesus into your life. Ask Him for His forgiveness, His cleansing for those moments when you've made some stupid choices. Ask Him to fill you with His Spirit, and He will give you the power to do these things, to live this way. And if you do, the blessings are great.